All right, all right. Hello, and good morning, world. And welcome back to yet another fun-filled episode here with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. As we embark upon what will be another great episode this morning, we thank you all for chopping it up with us, and we thank you in advance for a time that will be had. And so, yes, world, we are back like a shark attack, back like we left something, back like we ain't got no clothes on our back. And for the world is a better place when the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast is taking place. And so thank you for tuning in with us this morning as we converse about the latest sports topics that have taken place in this past week and will be upcoming this week. It is always a blast to have you all tune in and participate with us every weekend. As a reminder that every week, we always like to begin our podcast by reminding our audience that the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast can be found on Facebook via our two Facebook pages, the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast community page, as well as additionally on our Early Morning Sports Talk podcast Facebook page. You can additionally find us on Instagram, at EMSTP _, again on IG at EMSTP _, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify as the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, as well as our own Facebook pages via Brandon Price, Jamar Goodman, Ian Jones, as well as our guests for that weekend. Today is April 26th of 2025. We have seen yet again another fascinating week in the sports world, where we saw 1 week's worth of NBA playoff action, some great series taking place, some injuries taking place, some predictions taking place that was predicted by myself, as well as some injuries, unfortunately, that have taken place. In which for each series, we have had at least one entertaining game. We would also see, as stated again, some tough injuries in the Western Conference, such as Ja Morant, oh my goodness, and Jimmy Butler. But the good thing is that both of these guys got up, but not without their teams losing their respective games. Additionally, we would see the NFL draft take place, in which our Bears did the unexpected again by drafting a tight end when nobody in Chicago or Illinois or around the universe expected them to do it, but they did it anyway. On the other hand, additionally, Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders unexpectedly slid out of the first round, but not just the first round, the second round and third round, and has not been drafted. While on the other hand, this now brings up a very interesting Early Morning Sports Talk podcast and debate, because there's speculation everywhere. And so, with that being said, introducing our guest for this morning, Mr. Kerry Knox. Kerry is a man of faith, a father and husband whose favorite athletes include the great Michael Jordan, not a bad choice there, sir. Larry Bird, not a bad choice. Albert Pujols, Tiger Woods, the great Tiger Woods, as well as Dick Butkus, Red Grange, Lou Brock, and Harry Aaron. We know about the great Henry Aaron, but to our viewers, I must conclude that, like you, I am thinking, who in the hell is Red Grange and Lou Brock? But with the help of Google, we were able to figure things out. And so, Kerry loves Cardinals, by the way, being that he is a fan of the St. Louis Cardinals and Arizona Cardinals, and it made Mr. Jamar Goodman message me on Twitter asking if he was actually a fan of the Louisville Cardinals as well. Additionally, he loves the Boston Celtics and reps for the University of Illinois Fighting Illini. Kerry is a spiritual leader and is involved with University of Illinois Athletics. He is an assistant coach at Athens High School in Athens, Illinois, and he coaches his two sons in football. And this team actually went to the Class 2A state championship a couple of years back. And additionally, he has coached in the past for 5 years as a head coach. And so he has a lot of coaching experience, and he reminds me just of the head coaches that me and Ann dealt with for so many years when we played football, a man of faith, a spiritual man, etc. He is the author of a book entitled I Believe, which we will dive into more shortly. And a big goal of Mr. Kerry Knox is sharing God's word, as should be the goal for all of us, including me and including you. And so with that being said, introducing our guest for this morning, joining us for the first time on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Kerry Knox. Kerry, good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, and good morning to all three of you and anyone listening. You're a tough act to follow. I'll try to keep up with you and do my best. Everything you, I'm an old school coach, old school soul, and I will try to do my best to stay with you guys.
All right, let's have fun. Let's go. Let's do it. And so, yes. So with that being said, introducing our other brother from another mother, and my partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, and not just our other brother, but our brother from another mother, and my partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, Mr. Jamar Goodman. Mr. Jamar Goodman, good morning, bro. How are you?
I'm ecstatic. I'm excited. Kerry, thank you for joining us. Brandon, Ian, appreciate you both.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And additionally, introducing our partner here on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast and our other brother from another mother, Mr. Ian Jones, a.k.a. Rod Tidwell, a.k.a. Peoples Hernandez. Mr. Ian Jones, my bro, what it do?
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Good. Yes. And so with that being said, world, I will get my tags going. And so introduce to Mr. Kerry Knox. And so, Mr. Kerry Knox, we want to get to know you, sir. You, through your agency, reached out to us to connect and to talk about your book, as well as to talk sports in general. And so, meanwhile, we have Mr. Kerry Knox here, and we want to know who is Mr. Kerry Knox. And so, tell us a little bit about yourself, sir, and what teams do you like? What draws you to sports? And so, if I had to ask a really quick question, who is Mr. Kerry Knox in an elevator speech? What would you tell me briefly, sir?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, I do proclaim my faith. Haven't always been a man that lived it like he should. So I'm a sinner just like anyone else. I've been married. Kelly and I celebrated our 43rd wedding anniversary on April 17th. We both raised 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. We have 11 grandchildren. We have 4 grandchildren that are within 8 months of each other. So all 4 of our children were having kids at the same time. And Easter at our house this year was raucous. Filled with great food and great love and great energy. I've always I grew up. My dad played on a couple undefeated high school football championship teams, and I think hearing those stories prompted me into my love for it. I think a lot of it though is natural. I think some people gravitate to it. Some people don't. But as far as the St. Louis Cardinals, we are 11-time world champions. We are the Yankees of the National League. We haven't won since 2011, but we're supposed to be at the top, and we're not right now. And it's not easy for Cardinal fans to accept not being one of the top teams in the National League or in all of baseball. You asked why Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray. I when I was a kid, 74, 75, and 76, I was 10, 11, and 12 years old. And the Arizona Cardinals were in St. Louis. They were the Big Red, the St. Louis Football Cardinals. They were the best team in the NFC East. They were better than the Cowboys, the Eagles, the Giants, the Redskins. We were the best. And they were
NFC East.
Yes, that goes way back into the 70s. But that was my team. And then when they left St. Louis and went to Arizona, I went with them. So I've remained a fan, not as loyal necessarily as I was when they were in St. Louis, but they still remain my team. And so that's the answer to that question.
Wow. And so, okay. And so, Jamar, you got a question?
Really quick, just to pivot off the the Cardinals at the time, and then they ended up moving. When the Rams pretty much came to St. Louis, did you gravitate towards them or not?
I did not. They were a Los Angeles team. They were the Los Angeles Rams that I watched Lawrence McCutcheon and all those great players played. I tend to, just like when Baltimore went to Indianapolis, I had a hard time with that. I tend to it's difficult as a fan to see your team leave and then be replaced by a team from Los Angeles. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I did not.
Understood.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because the Rams, I mean, yeah, there's all type of connections here with the Rams or the Cardinals organizations. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but it used to be the Chicago Cardinals too, correct?
Yes.
That's correct. But when I was a kid, whenever I was a kid, they were in St. Louis, and that's all this 10-year-old boy knew was his team was in St. Louis. And man, we had some great players led by Hall of Fame coach Don Coryell, who went on to coach at the Chargers and had Dan Fouts and all those great receivers, Kellen Winslow, the tight end. And so it's we had some very gifted players in St. Louis and some colorful players as well. Conrad Dobler was considered the meanest, dirtiest player in all of football. He was our right guard.
Okay, yes. And so this is fantastic to hear. I'm pretty sure, guys, we're gonna get some history here for sure with Kerry. He definitely has some history here, and so I'm all in for it. Good morning, Arkeith. How are you? Our brother from Florida, Jamar, and rock with the Offbeat Studios and Entertainment. They rock with them every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Chicago Standard Time, and they podcast talking about everything in the sports world. And so good morning to our brother. Hope you all are well. Appreciate your support. And additionally, we'll find out who Michael Lewis is. And so, Jamar, did you get your tags in, bro? Okay, yep, we did. And so great. And so with that being said, we're going to speak with Mr. Kerry Knox, and we want to know about your connection to U of I before we get into your book. And so, how did you get affiliated with the University of Illinois? And what is your connection with the University of Illinois?
Other than writing this book, there is no formal connection to the University of Illinois other than being a loyal fan. I go back and, the Fighting Illini have, and I write about it in the book, have a long history of great players. And you guys kind of referenced Red Grange and had to Google him and so forth. But at one time, Red Grange was the greatest college football player in the country. And they called him Galloping Ghost because you had a hard time seeing him whenever he was playing. And he was almost unstoppable. And then I also write about Dick Butkus, the monster of the Midway, Chicago Bears. I mean, he is the epitome of what Bears football and Bears fans like in their team. I mean, you have Butkus, then you went on to Singletary, and then you had Urlacher, and it's the monsters, just tough men inside the box playing football. And then the third person that I focused on in the book was George Halas, Mr. Everything, Papa Bear. He played at the University of Illinois, 3 sports, majored in engineering, was an extremely bright man, and went from the University of Illinois and became a co-founder of the NFL. And the NFL today is king. I mean, they can go. If you look at the crowd at the draft on Thursday night and then Friday night, that was an amazing scene in that small town of Green Bay, Wisconsin. And I've actually driven through Green Bay, and it's a really relatively a small town. It's actually owned by the citizens of the town. There's no single owner, and that's kind of a fascinating thing as well. But my affinity for the University of Illinois is twofold. I focus on basketball and football in the devotional, and I incorporate scripture into it so that it's a fun read, and it's also a beneficial read.
Yes. And so can you show us this book, Kerry? Wow. It's a beautiful book.
Sure.
Yes. It's a very beautiful book. Absolutely. And so this is wonderful. And we'll talk about this book some more as time progresses. And so
I just want to add really quick.
Yes. I just
want to add really quick.
Ahead,
I did post the link for this book in the comments for anybody that's interested in purchasing. It is in the link there in the comments.
Okay, and additionally, Jamar, when you get a chance, post it on the page as well. Yes, sir.
Appreciate
yes, sir. It. So with that being said, yes, no problem. I believe, and I'm with you, Kerry. I believe as well. I believe in Jesus Christ. I believe that he did die on the cross for our sins so that we could have a chance at everlasting life. I do believe that Jesus Christ fasted. I do believe that Jesus sat in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights. I do believe that Jesus Christ loves all of us, and that God loves us, and that God is the creation of all. And I believe as well. And so want to let you know that, sir. I believe as well. And so best of luck with this text. I look forward to reading it. I will purchase this book, and I'm letting you know in advance because I could use some daily devotional scriptures as well. I think we all could, no matter how far we go in life, no matter where we go, Kerry, no matter how much money we make, no matter how much success we have, we all need God at the end of the day, period.
Absolutely. Your witness is what this world of living with Christ is all about. You are a testimonial, and your voice is so important. Sharing the word of God is so important. And this book is one of the reasons I have written this book was I want to bring along as many people to the cross as I can. My legacy in life is one in which that's what I want to accomplish. Whether it's a lost family member that hasn't found Christ yet, my goal is to bring them along, or whether it's a neighbor, in this case, I have a lot of former athletes that have purchased my book. One of the greatest messages I got recently was from he played right tackle for me about 20 years ago, and he was lost, and he sent me a message. He said, "Coach, I got your book. I'm reading your book, and this is the best playbook you could have ever given me." And to me, that meant the world to me. It did. Whether he goes on to in his life, if he continues in a life of faith, remains to be seen. But he has been exposed to it. He has felt it, and we all understand that there is a feeling to that. And it was a gracious thing for him to reach out to me. I like sharing that because that's what this is all about.
Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. And so when you mentioned the feel aspect, the feeling, and the fact that as a coach, you had one of your former players come back to you, and he stated that was the best playbook that you ever could have given him. Jamar, really quickly, bro. From a religious perspective, we do this randomly sometimes at the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. What are some of the best playbooks of life that we could receive? So one of them could be Carrie's book, I believe. What is the ultimate playbook, bro, in life that we could receive?
Oh,
What
the
star
Bible.
would it be? It's a 5-letter word.
Definitely the Bible.
You know, it's still the most purchased and most read book still today, and it's been in circulation for a
Yep.
long time. So it must be there must be something to it.
Right. And I'm a theologian, Carrie, McCormick Theological Seminary. I'll be starting my PhD very soon. And so I'm with you. I've studied intensely the Word of God. I've studied intensely the stars, science, and it all seems to just add up. Everything, it all revolves back around to God. And I can firmly say that. Every Sunday I do ministry with two churches, Parkway Garden Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. That's my home church, with teenagers, and we do the teenage ministry. And I'm raising up a lot of youth to be in the Word of God every Sunday. We are on platforms as well. We are very tech based. And additionally, I do ministry with Dr. Crowder, Reverend Dr. William Crowder Jr., Reverend Dr. Edward J. Morris Sr. Both, and we're disciples of Christ, by the way, under the Protestant. But I live in Guadalupe, and here it's Catholic based. And so I've seen so much of how it all adds up, and it all just seems to circulate back around to God again. And so I don't know if you were going to say something, bro.
No, you're fine.
Okay. And so when you mention the fact of I believe I'm with you. We believe, myself, Ian, and Jamar, we believe as well. So you're not alone, my brother. You are not alone. And so with that being said, let's find out what the NFL owners believe. And so, Jamar, I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to talk to you and Ian, and then I'll follow up with you, Carrie. What are your thoughts from the NFL draft, man? And the biggest question remains, can you break down to us why the owner, or just why top talent we've seen for the last 2 seasons at Colorado, projected to be a first round, really a top 10 pick, has not been drafted in the first 3 rounds? Can you break that down to us? What has happened and why?
You want the politically correct answer? Or you want the cold hard truth?
Both.
The politically correct answer is I guess he's just not a fit for these teams. The real answer is he's being blackballed. Let's just call a spade a spade. This I can understand, like, this is not a very deep quarterback class this year. So, like, him not going in the first round, okay. All right. Yeah, I felt a little slighted, but I'm like, okay. Even when the Giants traded up back in the first round to take Jackson Dart, I'm like, okay. But to see, quarterbacks like Slough from Louisville and
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel.
The kid from Alabama.
Miro,
Yeah.
And you're sitting here to tell me that they are better than Shedeur Sanders? Like, there's no way. There's no way to really justify this. Like, Shedeur Sanders entering the whole draft process was projected as a top 5 pick. He didn't even have to really participate in NFL Combine. He was part of that class, that tier that should have been drafted. He was invited to the green room. He chose not to go. And there's been a couple players over the years that chose not to go, and there was no backlash for that. So for him to not being picked day 1 or day 2, and based on his resume as a college quarterback who led college football in completion percentage, who is renowned as one of the toughest quarterbacks and athletes in the sport, for him to be sacked 94 times over the past 2 seasons and only missed 1 game. If I'm not mistaken, the game he missed, what was the last game of the year?
Yeah, Washington
So
State last year.
Yeah.
so I mean, he's a very accurate with
Like
the
the cut, by
ball.
the
He
way,
has
man.
pocket presence. Like, it doesn't add up to me. And the only thing that comes to my head, the common denominator is, it feels like the owners of the football league of each team got together and said, we're going to humble this kid. We're not going to take him. We're going to make a stand. I don't know if it has something to do with him. Maybe his father that spoke out and said some things that rubbed the NFL the wrong way. Whatever it is, it's not fair to him. At the end of the day, I mean, he's just a young man, just like everybody else that's trying to live a dream. The dream is to get drafted.
Right.
He is more than qualified. We should have heard his name on Thursday. It is Saturday. And it's the fact that you hear analysts everywhere just
Right.
in disbelief. It's not just, you don't hear the narrative, well, yeah, he wasn't that good. And that's not even the narrative. The narrative is he's been on Mel Kiper's big board since the opening draft pick. When the Titans on the clock, they know taking Cam Ward, but he's been on the big board since then and hasn't been gone. And it doesn't make sense, man. It really does.
I thought Mel's head was going to explode on Thursday night because he was so outspoken about it. I think that there was they do those personality tests and they do these interviews and stuff like that, and they're kind of falling back on that a little bit. But his personality, I think, is part of it. But getting back to what was said earlier, his physical tools are there. There's no questioning that. I mean, it was between him and Cam Ward as to who was the top two quarterbacks going in, and he's still sitting there and hasn't been drafted yet. And when you have every NFL team taking part, it does seem a little suspicious.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely, Kerry. Ian, what are your thoughts on this?
You ready for my thoughts?
I'm ready. We're ready. We're ready. Yes.
It's truly unacceptable, honestly. So let's go back to last year's draft, and I'll even go back to a game that I watched personally last year. So the Bears' first round pick last year, Caleb Williams, they actually played Colorado. So the knock on Caleb Williams last year was he takes too many unnecessary sacks, which I agree. Fedora does the same. Uh, he's very accurate, strong arm, etc. Um, he's more dynamic as a runner than Shedeur Sanders, clearly, but I mean, maybe arm a little bit stronger, but I've never seen a throw, that Shedeur has made to make me feel like his arm is not strong enough to get the ball there. So, I mean, technically speaking, for the whole 12 months, he's been the projected number one pick. And then, maybe during the college football season, Cam Ward had ascended, until it was the battle between those two. So for the last 12 months, he's been the top projected pick, him and Cam Ward. Now, Cam Ward going number one, that's completely fine with me. He deserved that. Everybody talks about Caleb Williams playing like Patrick Mahomes, which I think he plays nothing like Patrick Mahomes. It's actually Cam Ward. They have similar play styles. That's who plays like Patrick Mahomes. He goes number one. That is truly fine with me. Actually, he was my Heisman pick, before, Travis kept it going. But so, what I mean, in my opinion, what's the big difference from Caleb Williams and Shedeur Sanders? Because I watched these guys on the same field basically play just alike. Unnecessary sacks. Yes, he does take unnecessary sacks.
But it was a great game. They were
Yeah,
shooting it
yeah,
out.
yeah, yeah. Colorado got down. They got down big, but they eventually came back. Uh,
They came back.
so and we seen this, like Jamar stated, we seen this kid take a beating for the last 2 years. And granted, all of the sacks wasn't the O line fault, but I would say 90% of them were. Um, he's not the most athletic kid. Him being the son of Deion Sanders and Deion Sanders being this explosive athlete, you would expect for him to be like Michael Vick type of quarterback, and that's just not his game. And um, I mean, I'll even go back to, we've seen this happen, but not to this magnitude. I'll even go back to the Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields argument I had a couple years ago. I said, "What's the biggest difference between Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence?" Nobody could give me the answer. And right now, to this day, with Trevor Lawrence being in a better situation per se, they pretty much had the same career. I mean, maybe Trevor Lawrence numbers are a little better because he started longer, but there's no big difference. So to say that Jackson Dart and all these other guys, and there's no offense to these guys. I've watched the NFL draft since I was probably 6 or 7 years old, every year faithfully. I love seeing these guys get drafted. It is truly a beautiful thing seeing these guys' dreams come true. Hell, I wanted to be drafted in the NFL draft. So
Yeah.
to sit there and watch them be drafted, it
Mm-hmm.
is truly a beautiful thing. But Thursday and last night was really like I've seen guys fall in the draft, a couple picks, a couple rounds, but I mean, it was clear as day Thursday night, and it was really clear yesterday. I told a friend of mine last night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I told him Thursday after he didn't go in the first round. I say, this has really nothing to do with Shador. Now we've seen players, get arrested, be in car accidents to cause serious harm to other people. We've seen all type of things, and like our guest stated, all of us, everybody is sinners. Nobody's perfect, including myself. And we've seen all these type of egregious things that guys have done, and it never really affected their draft status to this capacity. They may,
Come
yeah,
on,
yeah,
Ian.
they may
Right.
have dropped, like I said, a couple rounds or a couple picks, but I wouldn't even say a couple rounds, maybe like a round or a round, or a couple picks, and
Mm-hmm.
but this kid, he's never been in no off the field scandal. You never hear about him being a bad teammate. I mean, yeah, granted, he's been coached by his father, but you
Who
tell me
hasn't?
what father, what father that's a football coach that wouldn't want to coach their sons through grade school, high school, and college. If they told me no, then I'm sorry, you lying to my face. Because any father, any true father would take that opportunity every day, 100% of the time. So, I mean, in my opinion, this is not really about Shador. And it's not like he don't have the numbers, like you guys stated, 74% complete percentage. We've seen a kid take a beating. We never seen him, dog his O line out, or take jabs at him, or cuss him out on the sideline. He just stayed even keel, played his game. Some games he did have bad games. I totally agree. And I think us as fans, we get so wrapped up in we thinking everybody's a finished product, or you know this is the best they're going to get. None of these players that are drafted from number one to the Mr. Irrelevant pick, none of them are finished products. They all have to grow in some aspect of the game, from Cam Ward to Travis Hunter to Abdul Carter. Every last one of them, even Shador Sanders, every
Right.
last one of them. So uh, eventually, it's just, are they going to take them steps to grow? But this situation, this is a true testament of, it really seems like they were set out to be embarrassed. The bar had already been set low for Shiloh for really no reason. I mean, no, I'm not saying Shador or Shiloh is the best two players in the country, or they're the best athletes I've ever seen. No. I've been watching college football for a long time. I love college football more than I love the NFL. And I'm not even going to sit here and say that Shador is the best college football quarterback I've ever seen. No, he is not. But this right here, this was the true attack on, that family. I don't know if it's, now it's, the rumors coming out that, it's his character flaws and, but this is a true attack on that family to embarrass them. And I mean, honestly, they're doing it. As soon as the draft ends, it's being posted everywhere that, oh, he dropped to the second round and he dropped to the third round. And it's kind of like it's a setup. You mean to tell me that Jackson Dart, Jalen Milroy at one point, people were calling for him to play another position just as well as they did Lamar Jackson as well. So to see him
Right.
drafted last night, it was a joke. And this is no knock on none of those kids. Like I said, I love seeing them get drafted, but seeing this type of thing happen in the draft, I don't think we've ever seen nothing like this. For President Trump to come out and say
No, I've never seen
for
nothing like
President
this.
Trump to come
I've
out
never
and
seen it.
say something about him not being drafted in the first round, out of all the things we got going on in the world, the president even said, like, are you guys crazy? I'm not even saying that,
Right.
he should have went number one, and granted, in the first round, I'll say this too. It is a lot of teams that don't need a quarterback. A lot of young quarterbacks went last year, like Drake May, Caleb Williams. Uh, you guys know the rest, but so I do get that.
Yes.
A lot of teams don't need a quarterback, but to say that, and I couldn't get this the other night. So he didn't go in the first round. And to say that, oh, well, he'll go in the second or third round or a later round, he'll be in a better position. What better position? All the other teams that drafted night one are going to draft day two and day three. So what better position is he going to be in? So, I mean, in my
Right.
opinion, it's just a true attack on their family for whatever reason. Um, and it's clear as day. Nobody can even give you an answer. When analysts on TV, former players can't even really give you a real answer. A kid that was projected a top three pick for the last 12 months. Literally, for the last 12 months, he's been a top three pick, projected a top three pick. We've never seen nothing like this. It's truly unacceptable. And
Mm-hmm.
technically, he don't never have to
Uh,
play in his position, coming from his family. He don't have to. He doesn't need to play football. You know, he'll be well off whether he play
mm,
football or not. But to see that kid, you know, he's still a kid, and to see, these teams and these owners kind of play with him, this kind of control thing they're trying to do it's sad. It's really sad because it's not about football.
mm-hmm.
It's truly not about football. If it was just about
Right.
football, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I can understand
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm not even saying that he should have been the number one pick. I get him, sliding in the first round a little bit. A lot of teams don't need quarterbacks. A lot of team quarterbacks are young and they got their quarterbacks for the future. That's understood, but it's a clear indication that something's going
Right.
on behind the scenes, and it's sad to watch. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen nothing like it. Nothing.
Right. And I'm with you, Ian. I have never seen nothing like this, Gary. I don't ever recall us having to see a player that didn't rape anybody, that didn't hurt anybody, that didn't kill anybody, that didn't drive their car with the DWI, that didn't go to jail, that didn't he did none of these things. All he did maybe in after a game was hold up his chain or had a chain or had a watch or something like that. Kind of being a kid with swag.
Yeah,
What's wrong with swag?
we
What's wrong
watched
with
Baker
that?
Mayfield. We watched
I,
Baker Mayfield do it.
I right, yeah. And so, does it bring up a conversation? And Carrie, I know you're Caucasian, sir. Does race have something to do with
I think
this?
maybe a little bit.
Because
Uh,
thank you for being
well,
honest.
and I don't know whether we want to go this direction or not, but I think this is it feels a little bit like Kaepernick a little bit. Um, when he did his, and I was at that time, and our president didn't handle that situation properly. He was angry about the kneeling and stuff like that. I was too, and when Kaepernick chose to do that, that was truly controversial, and it was
right. That was truly controversial, Kerry. That was truly
and
controversial. Yes.
that's even though they're similar. Going back to what you said, Shedeur never did anything that would prompt this type of action against him. He's been a good kid. The only thing is he's brash, but a lot of times they like brash in the NFL. So that's a little odd as well. The only thing I can say is teams don't want distractions. There's enough distraction to begin with, and then to have, let's say he's drafted and he's playing second string or something like that, and Dion is he's spouting off and stuff like that, and that's the only thing that I can see that would keep a franchise that needs a quarterback from drafting him. I don't get it. No one really does. And the thing is, he's going to go to a team. So he's going to be on an NFL team. So you're going to bring, if distractions is the excuse, then he's going to be on your team anyway. You might as well have taken him when you could have taken him, when he deserved to go. So it doesn't make much sense to me.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
We've just real quick, like for instance, like Ian, you were saying that, matter of fact, you all were just saying like players get drafted with all these character issues. I mean, we saw one last night, Mike Green. I mean, he's a highly talented player that had character issues. He slid and he got drafted without a problem. But we've seen, and honestly, I mean, we've seen a couple of quarterbacks, Hall of Fame quarterbacks that slid, and we didn't understand. This here is a little different, but I mean, we've seen Aaron Rodgers slid as much as we can't stand the man. I mean, but he slid. Alex Smith went one. He went like 24.
Yeah.
We've seen Lamar Jackson.
What was just the defensive tackle last year that was fantastic? Or was it 2 years ago that played for Philadelphia?
Out of Georgia. He was out of Georgia, I believe.
Yeah.
A beast of a player.
He was projected the number one pick.
Right,
he only slid to 10.
Yeah. I mean, we could have had him, and the rest is history. But yeah, we've seen players like
Bears could have had
Lamar Jackson slid. But this here is just this is different territory. This is one of one in a sad way. So
it's one of one in a sad way, and it makes people now begin to question: do they want to support the NFL? Do they really want to support the NFL? Because the NFL seems like they're on a very high pedestal.
I'm gonna tell you,
here. And
I mentioned this earlier. The NFL is kings. They are the king of sports right now. Going back to Kaepernick and all that stuff, there were many people who said, "I'll never watch another NFL game the rest of my life," and they have been able to overcome a lot of things.
Yep.
And their product is so. I mean, you get with the fantasy football and the product that you get on Thursdays and Sundays and Mondays and the tradition.
Yeah, it's a way of life.
It is.
It's a way of life.
It's
more than just a sport.
This is not going to affect the overall market of the NFL. It's gonna make some people upset.
It's too strong.
It is.
It's too strong.
It is.
Yeah.
And they know that, and I think that's the big thing.
Right, they know that, and they know that
it's tough to watch. Like I said, I've watched the draft every year faithfully. It's like a holiday for me. Anybody know the draft at the NFL draft coming up?
All of us, bro. I'm with you.
I mean,
I don't miss it.
Ian, you went to the draft last
Right,
year. You
I
drove
went
to
to the
Detroit
draft last year. Yep, I drove to Detroit last year. Yep, yeah. So it was tough to watch. I was at my parents' house last night before me and my daughter came home. And when I seen Jalen Milroe and Dylan Gabriel get picked last night, I was like, this is a joke. I was like, you gotta be serious. I'm like,
Right.
this is crazy. And no offense. I look like I said, I love seeing these guys get drafted. There's no offense to those guys. I hope and pray that they fulfill every accomplishment that they wish to fulfill, because it is a beautiful thing, watching these kids dream come true.
Yes.
Just like the kid from Oregon that got drafted by Pittsburgh, he lost his mom, mom
Yes.
was on life
Yeah.
support, and
Mm-hmm.
that touched my heart, man. That was like a range of emotion. You had the biggest dream probably of his life to happen, but him to probably lose the most important person in his life at the same time.
That's
I
hard.
couldn't
That's
imagine. I couldn't
tough.
imagine going through something like that, man. During that time. But they say mom's held on, for him to come back to. Yep.
She held on just to see her
Yeah,
son get
man. That
drafted.
that
Yep.
was. And, you hear stories like that, man. It's just you like, man, dude. It make you think like, what I'm going through, or it ain't even that big of an issue because we all got our issues and we all got our problems. But that touched me the other night, man. I was just like, man,
No,
that's
I'm
that's deep.
I'm with you on that. But in the same
Mm-hmm.
breath, like to see teams like the Pittsburgh Steelers who need a quarterback and just continue to pass their number one need every time they come up, quarterback. The Cleveland Browns, who have a plethora of picks,
Yeah.
knowing they need a quarterback, just continue to pass. That's
What they
Knowing
yeah.
they
I
need
mean,
a
well,
quarterback,
what they took.
like
I mean, they took Dylan Gabriel, so they got their quarterback.
I mean, but still, like the Saints taking Tyler Shaw, whatever his name, and he
right, the Saints. Come on,
Yeah.
Tyler
whatever his name,
Slow,
like
whatever his name was.
dude, like what was he, the third quarterback off the board?
Yep.
The third quarterback
Yeah,
off the
quarterback
board.
out the board.
So
It
I
was
think
something. It was something to see.
Pittsburgh is thinking, Aaron Rodgers is holding the Steelers hostage right now, and
Yeah, I
I
said the
think
same thing.
they believe that he's going to be their quarterback. But to me, Shadur 1 year under Rodgers or 2 years under Rodgers would have
Would
been
be great.
a,
Would
a
be
great
excellent.
great.
transition.
That
It
would
would
have
have been
been.
perfect,
That's true,
and
Kerry. Yeah.
but they didn't pull the trigger on that. I really thought he'd end up in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think everybody
Yeah.
did.
It's a really
I
good
think
point.
everybody did. But like Kerry stated, I do think I told somebody that the other night. I said I think Pittsburgh does have A Rod in their back pocket, and it's just like maybe A Rod trying to see what they're gonna do during the draft or something. But I mean, if you're gonna play for him, dude, just come out and say you're playing for him. Or
Hey, think about this. I talked about
Yeah.
distractions. You don't want distractions. Is there any bigger distraction than Aaron Rodgers in all of sports? I mean,
right.
you talk about this kid, and I mean, I don't. It doesn't add up uh, in the end. It just doesn't.
Yeah, yeah. It's truly no way that
Wow.
they can really
Yes.
explain it, honestly.
Wow. And so, with that being said, Jamar, and we can get your thoughts as well. Just guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Chicago Bears, our Chicago Bears. We made a plethora of draft picks, and so Jamar, if you had to give the Chicago Bears a grade thus far within the first 3 rounds, what are your thoughts, man? Because the Bears, they selected Kerry some players that we didn't expect them to. I mean, I guess that's traditional Bears for you.
you know, might shock you. I'm gonna give them a B plus.
Hmm.
I'm gonna give them a B plus, and
All right.
I'll tell you why. Look, like us as fans and radio personalities all in the Chicago area, we all pretty much play GM. We all got our own like philosophy and things that we need to build the team and make it the right way. Um, I mean, everybody, the same people that might be complaining about the picks, is the same people that wanted Ben Johnson to be head coach. So let Ben
Hmm.
Johnson come in and do what he needs to do. He's picking the players that fits the scheme. I mean, he is
Yep.
the offensive guru that turned the Lions around on the offense and made Jared Goff look like an MVP candidate. I mean, he was bullish enough to take Jahmyr Gibbs a couple of years ago with the 11th overall pick, and then in the same draft to take Sam Laporta in the second round. We was questioning, like, what are they doing? And all of a sudden, they throwing up 30 points a game. So I'm not saying we're the Detroit Lions, but at the same time, you got to let this man pick the players that he feels that will turn this offense or overall this team into a contender. So to draft Colston Loveland with the 10th overall pick, that was, people were questioning, like, well, they didn't even take the best tight end off the board. I mean, based on what I'm hearing, I mean, he came in with a better grade on some of these things. He's a vertical threat. He's 6'5". I mean, the things that he did at Michigan with a lackluster quarterback last year, I mean, was still sensational. So to couple him in a 12 personnel offense with him and the other tight end, I can't even think of his name right now, but just to have those two out there. No, for the Bears. Cole Kmet. Yes. So to have that out there. Yes. So to have, and they do two different things, but you're going to keep them on the field at the same time. So it creates confusion for the defense. You don't know what to expect. To take Luther Burden III, who pretty much can fill the Amon-Ra St. Brown role right there. So you got more explosion. To draft
East St. Louis kid.
Yes, Illinois boy.
Yep.
Illinois boy. Yes. Mm-hmm.
To take the offensive tackle from Boston College, Ozzie Trepolo, I can't even pronounce the last name. Thank you. 6'8", like 300 some pounds.
Yeah, big kid. Mm-hmm.
I mean, to do that, and then to take Shamar Turner, A&M from Texas A&M. Yep. I mean, I feel like they did a great job. You pretty much at this point, you gave Caleb Williams zero excuse to be successful. Between the draft and what you did in the offseason to shore up the offensive line, there is no excuse. Go out there and perform. Go out there and execute. So that's where I'm at. B+.
All right, B+. Yes. And so now to our guests. So just curious, Kerry, you are a Cardinals fan, but you live in Illinois. Do you have any affinity for the Bears at all or not? I mean, because Ian, he lives in Illinois, but he's not a Bears fan anymore. So
even though he was just drinking with a Bears cup right now, but
right.
I got this before I jumped off the
I can share. Listen, whenever I was a kid, I go back to the 70s. Brian's song was on with Brian Piccolo and Gale Sayers, and so I have an affinity for the Bears. My son is a Cardinal fan. My oldest son, his wife is a Cubs and Bears fan, and he made an agreement that if he could raise his firstborn as a baseball Cardinal fan, he would be a Bears fan. And he's a Bears fan now. And they put on their jerseys every Sunday. And I'm a big fan of the Bears. I mean, relatively speaking, they're not my, if the Bears and the Cardinals were in the NFC Championship game, I'd be pulling for the Cardinals. But I like the Bears. I like their tradition. I like the fact that they play on just natural turf, and the fact that they play in cold weather. I think that football is the Chicago Bears. Soldier Field, Walter Payton, the Refrigerator Perry. I mean, all those great players. Yeah, I'm a Bears fan. I can't stand the Cubs, and my daughter-in-law is a Cubs fan, but my granddaughter, I tell her I like the Cubs only because I don't want to make her cry, but I don't like the Cubs. I hate the Cubs, but I do like the Bears. I like their history. George Papa Bear. And all that goes along with the Chicago Bears, the 85 team, in some ways, may be the best football team ever constructed in the NFL.
It is. That was that. I don't see a team that was that finished across the finish line that was as dominant as the 85 Bears. They were
I would
just
agree. And you know what? They were one trip to Miami from running the table. They could have been an undefeated
Yeah.
team, and
Yeah.
that was a big upset. Dan Marino and the Dolphins knocked them off, but
Pulled
that
him
was
up.
it. That was a fun team to watch.
wow, yes. That's how you know the Bears need to do something new because Kerry, I love you, but we've been talking about the 85 Bears for so long. It's about time.
Yeah.
It's about time, guys.
It's
we
about
talk about
time.
something.
Yeah.
You know, like they're definitely one of the greatest teams of all time. But to pivot, and speaking of teams, you are a Cardinals fan, and so you guys made some draft picks. And so, not sure if you know, Kerry, but your first pick was a defensive tackle, Walter Nolan, out of Ole Miss. I remember watching this kid in the SEC. He was your number one pick at 16. And number two, Will Johnson, cornerback out of Michigan. Then you got a DT again for round 3 out of Oregon. Curious to know, with your Cardinals, what is your thoughts on the Cardinals? What do they need to do? Do you keep Kyler Murray? Is he the answer? Like, what is just your overall thoughts on your team? And you know, you feel like you guys a few players away. Where are you with the Arizona Cardinals right now?
Well, this Kyler Murray, this is the year that it's either he's either going to do it or it's not going to happen. I think they made a smart decision. I mean, they extended him a few years ago when Cliff Kingsbury was there, and I never understood that. I thought Kingsbury, brilliant play caller, with Jaden Daniels now with the Commanders, and him and Kyler went back to their college days, and it just didn't work between the two of them. They were at odds when Kingsbury was let go, and that bothered me a little bit. I thought that they were a good pair. Now we drafted defense this year, and our head coach comes from Philadelphia, and he was a defense. He set the Eagles that Super Bowl team. He was in charge of the defense, so he has a good mind for defense. And I think that that's going to be an emphasis. But Kyler has to show up. He has some weapons around him with Marvin Harrison, who did not show up as well as we had hoped. In fact, Malik Neighbors for the Giants had a better rookie season than Harrison did. I hope he comes back. But, man, we have one of the best tight ends in all of football with Trey McBride. He actually kind of reminds me a little bit of the Bears pick at 10. He's really athletic and can stretch the field and can move. And I like our team. It all is about Kyler Murray right now. He has to perform at an elite level as a max quarterback. He has to perform at that level. If he does, I think they could be a playoff team, even though the NFC West is loaded.
I'm with you because as I looked at the Cardinals, I picked them a lot last year. Andy Jamar as my witnesses. I thought that they were a good team, just on a crust of missing something defensively. Because Kyler Murray, he had a pretty decent year. That tight end was dominant. Marvin Harrison, he didn't probably have the rookie year that some of us expected, but I know we saw some flashes from him. But he had some flashes last year, guys. And they're going back and forth, Kerry, because Ian is an Ohio State fan.
Yeah.
And Ian
I
recently
love
posted.
Kyler Murray.
Right.
Yeah,
and he loves Kyler Murray.
I should have worn my jersey. I should have got my jersey.
Yeah, but your boy Kyler Murray is the reason why Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't more productive than he should have been.
Yeah, he got honestly, he got to get it done. He has to stay healthy as well.
Right.
But he got to get it done. He's more than capable. It's just, like Kerry stated, this is definitely gonna be the year. He is either put up or shut up.
That's right.
If he don't get it together this year, I think they'll probably be parting ways. So depending on 'Cause I know he just got extended, a couple years ago, depending on the contract, but I don't know what year he's in on this extension, but got to get it done this year for sure.
Right, right. And you got some pieces. I mean, Marvin Harrison, he had some bright spots last year. He had some games. He had
Yeah.
some catches where you were like, oh my God, Kerry, did you see what he just did to that quarterback?
Yeah.
Made that
Yeah.
quarterback, he's a 5-year veteran, made him look like a rookie. So
Yeah.
there were some grown man moments, I would say, last year for Marvin Harrison. I also love the fact that I think you got a very underrated running back in James Conner. I
agree.
know he might not be the most flashiest guy, but he is damn it productive, guys. He is so productive. He's hard to take down. I feel like the Cardinals are just maybe a few pieces away, like you mentioned. I think that's a team that.
They're
Go ahead,
close.
Jamar.
Yeah, they are, especially within that division that play each other so well. So it's like it feels like anybody's like division to take year in year out, especially since the 49ers have definitely got depleted in certain key areas. But as far as the Cardinals, I mean, the offensive talent has already been there. Even Trey McBride, who was a target hog and got paid. I mean, he's phenomenal. But yeah, the defense, I really like the corner from Michigan. I feel like that was a really good pick. A really good pick. And the
Great
fact
pick.
that Patrick Peterson was the one to announce the pick, I found that even more, icing on the cake on that one. So yeah, I like what they did so far in the draft.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. And
Yeah,
so that
the Will
shows.
Johnson pick was a great pick in my opinion. I know he was dealing with some injuries, coming out. But I was really shocked to see him not go Thursday night. That
Yeah.
beyond Shador not getting going, going early. Will Johnson was my biggest shock. I was like, "Are you serious?" Will Johnson slid out of the first round. I mean, I'll even take it back. I've seen Willis McGahee get his knee tore off his leg. I mean, his leg tore
Yeah.
off, go the other
I
way,
was watching that. That was
and
brutal.
yeah, me
Same.
too. I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? And still seeing him go the first round. So to see Will Johnson drop out of the first round was very alarming to me. I'm like, nobody wants to take Will Johnson. Are you serious? So when I seen the Cardinals took him, I said it makes sense. I said that's a very great underrated pick. When he get healthy, he should be very productive.
Yes. Yes. And so just curious, guys, any more thoughts from the Arizona Cardinals NFL draft? Because we still got one more topic to talk about before we get to Ann's basement. Not sure if any guys got any other thoughts, but
I do
yeah.
got one. I do got one more.
Okay.
Okay. So I do have my Bears cup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not on the
You coming home?
fan base.
Coming
No,
home?
I'm not on the fan base. But I do like the draft. I do like the draft picks, especially the Luther Burden. I didn't see that. I didn't see that happen. I was really excited about that. I said, "Wow, they got Luther Burden." You say Lewis kid? I said, "Okay." Um, I probably would have went offensive line at 10, but the tight end he's
Right.
not bad. Yeah, I mean, I know Ben Johnson likes to use a two tight end set, so it made sense, and I think he's better than a lot of people understand. The guy from Michigan. I
Yeah.
just think with that pro style offense, and they didn't really have like I guess a premier quarterback within the last year or so. Um, and they ran the ball a lot. Like during the national championship year, they ran the ball a lot. But he's a very good tight end. I think a lot of people would be surprised by him. So he could be. Um, Possibly, he could be they like Sam Laporta. So we'll see. But I like they pick so far, and hey,
That's
we'll see what
that,
happens.
that's the nicest thing you said
Mm-hmm.
about the Bears in a long time.
And yeah, the last year.
Yes. And so, can you show us that book one more time? I believe. Yes. I believe. Yes. And so, by Mr. Kerry Knox. And so, wonderful. World also support this stream. You see that? And so, support the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. You can take a telephone, use QR code. From there, you can support this stream. Yes. So thank you, Jamar. I appreciate it, bro. And so with that being said, we got to talk the NBA playoffs, guys. We have a lot of series that are current right now, Eastern Conference or Western Conference. And so we start with you, Jamar, Ian, Kerry. Jamar, what are your thoughts thus far from the NBA playoffs? Any surprises? Any teams that you maybe predicted that you think won't come out after you predicted they will win? What are your thoughts, man?
All right. I'll just briefly go through each one, and I'll keep it very brief because it's a lot. So the way that the Thunder came back and beat the Grizzlies in game 3, that was
crazy.
That was.
But guys, Ja Morant got hurt. The Grizzlies were going to blow them clean away. They were going to blow them out. That wasn't even going to be.
Even
you
with
could see
the
the Thunder. They were giving
up.
the game away.
It was up almost 30.
They were giving the game away.
They was up almost 30. That's still inexcusable.
Yeah, very.
That requires a lot of offensive possessions to go wrong.
I don't care.
Yeah, but shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr., man. Shout out to Scottie Pippen Jr. What a terrible pass. Like, what do you think this is, the playground or something? You think this is Rucker Park in New York City? Like, come on, bro. Like, you're up 27. Continue to just hammer them. Like, I was really proud for Memphis, guys, because I'm like, yes, the Grizzlies are sending that message, Jamar, like we thought they would. And out of nowhere, this kid gonna make this errant pass, and it just made me think of Larsa Pippen.
Oh God!
Oh Lord!
Which is his mother.
Keep it PG.
She dated Future, the rapper.
Hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon.
She dated.
PG.
You know that's his mother, right? I'm just saying,
we're very aware.
It's
I was proud of the kid because I'm like, she don't have to rely on Future for money. She don't have to take Scottie Pippen's money. She could get her son's money. But now, after he made that pass, I read about his contractual future now in the NBA.
But in all seriousness, this is what happens when you lack leadership. This is what happens when you fire your coach like a month left in the season. Like you don't have any leadership. It's like there's nobody to steer the ship right in these moments. So there you go. Like I said, it should have been Grizzly. It should have been Thunder and 1 after the first game, but they just want to continue to play and get embarrassed. So all means, the Nuggets and Clippers is probably my favorite series to watch. Like these two teams, I feel like are so evenly matched. They're
back.
Man, that's the part right there. A healthy Kawhi Leonard, it's just he's pretty much reintroducing himself to the whole NBA. Like, you forgot about me when I'm healthy. It's a whole different team. So I'm excited to watch that. Lakers, Timberwolves. Hey,
ain't gonna be Lakers in 5.
No, that's a wrap. But the fact that, like, I know that, I think me and you picked the Lakers, and I think Brandon picked the Timberwolves, but it was one of those to where I know I didn't have the warm and fuzzies. I was hoping.
No, not at all.
Brandon's pick was right, and I'm hoping the Timberwolves put out the Lakers. I am hoping. And they showed a lot of fight last night because the Lakers, they wouldn't LeBron turned back the clock for a second.
Yeah, they're not playing a complete game. You see the games that they lost. It's only 3 people scoring in double figures. That's not gonna win a series. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's not, but I mean, honestly, that's been their MO the whole time since they got Luka. I mean, it's usually LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves. That's usually it. I mean, you might get a contribution every now and then from Rui or Gabe Vincent or whatnot, but if Game 4 is going to be so pivotal tomorrow.
Big time.
And then the Rockets Warriors. I think this is Jimmy Butler a bust at this point. That play was so unfortunate where he got clipped in midair.
Yeah.
Because so here's the thing: if Jimmy misses, I think he's questionable. But if he ends up missing 1 or 2 games, I think it's a wrap. I don't think they can beat Houston. He has to play.
Yeah, they're young. They're young and athletic, and they can play defense. I mean, because of their head coach. So
Yeah, yeah.
Them losing Jimmy Butler, that's tough.
It is. Their head coach Ume Udoka gives them he probably gives them an extra element of confidence and structure and success to keep them in games. So for the Warriors' sake, they need to at least split at home because I feel like they
Yeah.
can win another game in Houston with Jimmy Butler, but
Mm-hmm.
it all depends on his health. Cleveland, Miami, I think Miami's done. I really do.
Yeah.
That was a really entertaining game too, though, guys. They were going at it.
They just
Miami,
don't have
Miami kind of respond. I know they don't, but it makes an interesting game 3, Jamar, in my opinion. I'm just saying, just for game 3, that's it.
I mean, they probably come out like the Grizzlies did against the Thunder,
like Orlando did last night.
Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would take the first half spread for the Heat, but I still think Cleveland comes out and by the end of the game they either win or they lose close, like Boston and Orlando did, and I feel like Boston should have won that game. But Pacers Bucks is very interesting because the fact, they don't like each other. You can definitely see it. And Damian Lillard is back, and he just needs some more conditioning. And I think the longer the series goes, the stronger Damian Lillard becomes.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to make it very telling. So game 4, it's going to be very interesting. Knicks Pistons. I mean, it's just a dogfight everywhere. Yes, sir.
Man. Yeah, I just want to say quickly before you get to the Knicks and Pistons.
Yeah.
Carrie, how about this kid Green? This boy. I mean, if that kid cannot shoot, Green for the Milwaukee Bucks. Oh my goodness, that boy! Everything he throws up goes in. Jamar.
I mean, they like.
I guess this is why we predicted that would be a great series. That's
absolutely. And I feel like since they're a championship team a couple of years ago, they've been missing some outside shooting, and that has really elevated them. And outside shooting just make Giannis even more dangerous. So.
Mm-hmm. You've got 2 championship coaches in that series as well. Carlisle with the Pacers, and then Doc's one. It is an intriguing, evenly matched series, especially with Lillard coming back. I think, and then I thought the Pistons. I thought they would win Game 3 when they went back home. That was
That was a great game.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was a great game, wasn't it?
If they win Game 3, they might win the series, and I don't see them winning the series now. But I like watching the Pistons. I mean, I've always been someone who, when you see a young team go through what they went through, and just be demoralized for an entire NBA season or 2, and to see Cade Cunningham. Keep those guys together and to keep that young team together and to be in the playoffs and actually win a playoff game in New York. I have a lot of respect for them for hanging in there and getting the job done. And the Celtics, I'm a Celtic fan, but they're vulnerable. They are. That Thunder team to beat Memphis by 50. Now think about that. 50 points. That is, it says 2 things. One, OKC is really, really talented and ready for the moment. And Memphis is going back to firing their coach. There is not a lot of structure there. There's not a lot of organization. There's some talent there. But from going on a run and being an NBA champion, they're a ways away from doing that.
Yeah. Especially in the playoffs,
Absolutely.
getting beat by that many points in the playoffs is diabolical. That's crazy.
Right, but to think, guys, that they were coming back in Game 3 and smacking them, they were going to beat them by 40, and they just blow it. Like, oh my God, I know their stomachs are hurting in Memphis right now. Their stomachs are hurting.
And that goes back to, like you said, that goes back to coaching. Like that is unacceptable. True, it is truly unacceptable.
It is, because remember a couple years ago when Minnesota first got in the playoffs with that young team and they was going against Denver and they had
going against
those leads.
Yep, and
Or
lost.
you
And
talking
lost
about
every
if they were
game.
going against Memphis? You talking about when they went
Was
against
it
Memphis?
was
Or
it
was it
Memphis
That
that
was a
year?
7-game classic. That 7-game classic, guys. Remember
They
Memphis,
just
John
kept
Morant versus Anthony Edwards.
and they kept blowing. It was 3 games that they blew like a 20-point
A fourth,
lead.
fourth
Yeah,
quarter
yeah,
lead.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was a great series.
So it like that's just a prime example of like coaching is supposed to help like slow down the nosebleeds. You gotta like be able to regroup in those moments on the fly. You got to be able to, calm them down, shift gears, get back to your tone. Like whenever you play another team style, you gonna end up losing.
Yeah.
Right.
And if
Yep.
you get
And
caught in that race,
OKC.
and you can't stop it, if you can't like pivot or anything like that,
Yep.
you're doomed.
Yes, yes, yes. That's how I know, Jamar, you know sports, and that's how I know we know what we talking about. In most cases, is because Memphis was playing their style, and it got ruined. But when you see OKC play their style, they will blow you away, and it's a whirlwind and hits you so fast. Boston's another team when they play their style and they shoot those outside threes, and those babies are going in. Good luck, because they're really
Yeah.
tough to beat.
And speaking of Boston, that series against Orlando, like we said, it would be Orlando would play pretty good defense. That's their MO. They'll play defense. But all of us have picked the Boston Celtics to win it all. Like we all picked that. And Kerry, I know you say your team is vulnerable, but it's like I feel like the vulnerability of the Celtics compared to other teams is like almost night and day. Like if it's vulnerable, it's only a chink in the armor as opposed to the full armor being off.
Yeah.
I hope you're right. I questioned Joe Mazzulla being the guy, and he proved me wrong last year. And I think he is obviously a great head coach, and we have a great roster. We do, but sometimes I think when Boston shoots over 40% as a team from the three, they've only lost twice in the last 2 years. It's almost unbeatable when they do that. They have so many good shooters. OKC is really talented though, but they may be a year away. I do think OKC and Boston is probably going to meet in the finals, but there's some good teams in the East. The Cavaliers, a lot of people have been sleeping on them. We expect them to fold up maybe and go home. I don't know if they're going to. They are very talented with Mobley and Garland, and then of course
Mitchell and Donovan
Mitchell.
Mitchell.
Yeah, they have a solid nucleus. They do, and the Pacers are true tested, and the Bucks with Giannis and Doc at the helm. There's a lot of good basketball to be watched going forward. Playoff basketball is different than regular season basketball. I tell my boys this. I said they actually play both ends when the playoffs start, and I like NBA playoff basketball a lot more than regular season basketball. And then you see the physicality. It's only going to get worse. They're going to. Right. This is going to go back to the 90s, 80s, and 90s style basketball. In the playoffs, you're like Porzingis had blood dripping from his head and came out and shot those free throws. And I didn't realize it. He had to shoot those or he wouldn't be able to play the rest of the game. I didn't know that. That
and
was
it was
the
the same with John Morant too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then someone else did that earlier in the season. I don't know. Somebody.
You're right about that.
Yeah. I thought that was interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so you're definitely on when you talk about the physicality, because if it wasn't physical, Jimmy Butler wouldn't have got fouled the way he got fouled. If it wasn't physical, John Morant wouldn't have got fouled the way he got fouled. So you see what happened between Draymond Green and Dylan Brooks, and that's just another story. Fun. They keep. I just wish they stopped Jamar. It's like whenever they see each other, it's like on sight. Like, And so the physicality, the Knicks and the Pistons, just a great series, man. Shout out to Jalen Brunson. Ian, bro, any thoughts from the NBA playoffs? Any series that you see, Jamar as well, Kerry? Any series that you thought a team will win and you see somebody else actually beating them now? Because I don't know about y'all, but I picked the Timberwolves. Do you guys still
Yeah.
think the Lakers are gonna win that series? Let's be honest.
I don't.
Honestly,
I think
yeah,
Minnesota's going to
honestly,
win. I do.
honestly,
I'm
I'm
with you.
50-50. I'm like I just told Jamar, the Lakers are not playing. Well, all the players are not coming to play. I think like game one, I think Luca had a pretty big game. LeBron, he had like, I don't know. I don't even know if he had 20 points, maybe like 19, 18 points.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I think somebody else maybe had 10, and everybody else just kind of
It gets
drug
all
along. They
chipped
can't,
in.
yeah, they can't have games like that. They need those, games where, LeBron has his 24, 25, Luca has his 30, then Austin Reeves has his 20, and, they need games like that to win against. This is a young, we've seen this with Minnesota last year. They don't have nothing to lose. They're an underdog per se. I mean, they're not really an underdog to me, but per se because it's the Lakers, they're pretty much the underdog. So, like Jamar stated, I didn't have the warm and fuzzies or the winning in five, which is possible for the Lakers. It was possible for them to win in the
Right,
five,
right.
but
And you picked the Lakers in
yeah,
5. Why did you do
yeah.
that?
Because technically,
I think
technically
because
speak,
of Shannon
technically
Sharp.
speaking, yeah, yeah, yeah. Technically speaking, they should. I mean, they should, but Anthony Edwards he's a dog, man. He got that. He just got that dog mentality about him,
He
man.
got that in. He got that in factor.
They, like they would say, they playing with house money. They don't have nothing to lose. They're the underdog per se, and with the Lakers having Luka and LeBron, and just being the Lakers, everybody's kind of like thinking the Lakers gonna win, but in a sense, it's like I don't know if they gonna win. Pull this out if they don't, win. Especially this next game. This next game is very pivotal. If they lose this
Oh, it's their
game, then
season.
if they lose this game, it might be Timberwolves in five. so,
Right.
man, this
Right.
next game is gonna be big. It's crazy. I didn't even get to watch the game last night because I was watching the draft. I didn't even realize they played. Like, damn, they played tonight. And I was like,
I
wow,
thought
they
the
lost.
Yeah.
NBA. I thought the NBA made a big mistake by playing on draft night. They should have
Yeah,
planned it better. I mean, on Thursday night, I did not even know. I thought that the NBA was not going to be scheduled because of the draft, and there were 3
hmm
games going on. I didn't even know they were playing. I
yeah,
mean, that's. I just felt like that was not a great idea to be playing on because the draft is the NFL's king,
It
and,
is.
and you're not going to beat them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. When I got home, I was like, wow, they played tonight. I was like, wow, I missed that. But yeah, so I mean, we'll see where it goes from here. But um, the Knicks and Pistons series that's going to be a very interesting series. With the Pistons being young and getting their first win in the playoffs since I don't know the early 2000s or the late 2000s. They got a lot of upside to them. They are going against an experienced coach, experienced team in a sense. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully they get this next win to kind of make it interesting. I wouldn't want them to like lose in five and like a gentleman sweep. Um, so hopefully they can pull through. I think Memphis is done. I think that
Yeah,
series is
that's a
over.
wrap.
Yeah, I think that
Yes,
series is over. Miami, I can stay Jamal. I think Miami has enough.
Mhm.
Uh,
the
I think Pat
roster's
Rat.
not good enough. I mean, they have
Yeah,
they have they
Right.
have the structure, and they have. I mean, from an organizational standpoint, they're one of the best. Their
for
roster's a little
sure.
thin right now,
Yeah,
but
And
Hero is probably their best player, and he's a nice player, but he's not.
it's not a number
He
one option though.
no, he's
it's
not.
No,
he's not.
it's equivalent to have Kobe White as your number one option. It's not. It's
No,
nowhere near
yeah,
enough. He's a complementary player. If
Yeah.
he's
yeah,
like
but
your
very,
third
very
or
good
fourth best
compliment, bro.
option,
Yeah,
then
yeah, I would
you're in
say
a great
third. Yeah,
like. And to be honest with you, Miami's roster hasn't been great in over a decade.
Yeah.
They just been
probably
playing
since
above.
probably since the big three.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't been. I
Yeah,
mean, they just been playing, just above expectations the whole time.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. If you took Memphis's roster and you put them in the Heat culture, so to
Ooh,
speak, or man,
With John
or
Morant,
and
yeah,
some,
that would.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes, and he, let's be honest, he needs a little more structure. He needs a little more.
big time.
Um, I mean, he has the potential. I mean, the ability to be the face of the NBA, and I don't know if the NBA wants him to be the face of the NBA right now, but
No,
he
right
but he
now,
but he
nah.
could be, but he
He could
could
have been
be.
though.
I,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yes, and he still can. He still
yeah.
can.
yeah.
But structure, I'm telling you, as from a coaching standpoint, structure and organization and discipline within a team's makeup is so
Big
so
difference.
important.
Yes.
You could take the most talented team, and if you don't have those other things around you, you're not going to fulfill what you want to do as a championship team. It's just not going to happen.
Yep.
Mm,
Totally
right.
agree. Totally
So
agree.
I'm imagining you guys are talking about Anthony Edwards.
No,
No,
I was talking about John Morant and
John
Very
Morant.
listen,
Okay.
very very similar though. Very similar. Just talented, physical talents that are better than anybody in the NBA. Need to need to be more consistent, and
mhm.
I think Minnesota they have a good coach. Chris Finch is a good coach, and I think they have the people around him, but he is he needs to be a little bit more consistent, and we'll see. Going forward, that's what the playoffs are all about. We're going to
Yep.
see,
Mhm.
the Lakers and the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves have the better roster. I think the Lakers probably have the best player, maybe in Doncic, um,
yeah,
at this moment. And I think JJ has done a good job with the Lakers. I do.
Yeah.
I
I
think he's
agree.
done. I think he's done a good job. I'm not rooting for the Lakers. The Lakers to me are a lot like the Cubs. I don't. I don't. I don't. I don't like the Lakers. Obviously when you're a Celtic fan, you don't like the
Yeah,
Right.
Lakers, and that's just the
Right.
way it goes. Now I'm not running this, but I have one quick question for you three because I'm truly intrigued.
sure.
MJ, LeBron, Kobe debate. I don't think there's much debate, in my opinion. I think it's MJ, and then two A and two B for Kobe and LeBron. I think LeBron has had the greatest career,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
at the peak,
Right.
at their peak, you take Jordan at his peak, LeBron at his peak, and MJ is the
I think
king.
he's still number one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you all
Mm-hmm.
three
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
agree?
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Yeah. I
Yes.
think in my opinion, and even when I hear other people talk about it, I actually have a picture of them three in my shoe room. uh, if it's not those three in your top three, I really don't want to talk basketball because, like you say, I do think LeBron has had the best career statistical,
Numbers,
Lo-
but
yeah.
longevity. Yeah.
Longevity,
yeah,
Longevity.
longevity
yeah.
is not even. No matter how much you hate them or you don't like them, is I mean, it's self-explanatory. If you drew up the way you wanted your life or the way you wanted your athletic career to be, it would be like LeBron James. You want every
Exactly.
award to be
Yeah.
number one in everything, and all of that. But when it comes down to just being the best, whether it's you having multiple championships and the statistic. Now Jordan has statistic as well that a lot of people don't have as well. Let's not get that misconstrued. He's done some awesome things that we won't see again. But I think how it looks and his resume as well. I think he's just number one. Into with Kobe, he's the closest thing we've seen to Michael Jordan. So
Mhm.
I mean, with you can't say he's not in the air, but say he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan.
Mhm.
So I mean, if it's not those three, your top three, now however you want to rank them, some people may rank LeBron number one, some people may rank Kobe number one, some people may rank Michael Jordan number one. That's opinionated.
I think that
I won't argue with that.
I think the consensus is MJ is still number
Yeah, for sure.
one.
Yeah,
I think the majority of people that have watched basketball or over the years would still agree that MJ is the king. I tell you, he had that cool factor. I don't know that LeBron has the cool factor. He tries really really hard. MJ, it becomes natural. It was natural to him, and
yeah,
when he hooked up with Nike, I mean that was the end of any debate. Really, I mean he's
yep.
iconic. I mean he still makes more money than any professional athlete,
Which
and
is
he's been
crazy
retired for how many years
for
now? I
over
mean
20.
Yes,
it's
25 years now.
yeah, it's an
Yeah,
amazing story because he is the man. I mean,
yeah,
and that's
Yeah. And so just to hit of how iconic Chicago is, how iconic the Chicago Bulls is, Ann and Jamar know this. I live overseas in Guadeloupe, French West Indies island, and the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan, 23 everywhere.
yeah,
yeah,
France, Paris, you name it, Germany, Michael Jordan.
hmm
So it shows you that he has had a profound impact
hmm
on the
yeah,
sports world and the world in general,
yeah,
because
hmm
MJ is king. 23, Chicago, red and
yeah,
black.
yeah,
It's crazy,
yeah.
but
yeah,
very
He
iconic
has
guys.
I mean, the NBA was a big league back then, but he's made it Michael Jordan has made it globally, and I think, his impact, like you say, is iconic. I think we'll never see it again. And he's still being talked about every day today. Obviously because LeBron is still playing and with his age and the passing of Kobe, but they still talk about Michael Jordan every day like he's still playing. That man
hmm
62 years old? Like
Right.
he ain't played in almost
He's older than
25
me.
years, man. That's insane. But yeah, man, that's like I say, if it ain't those three in your top three, now anybody will have their opinion. Like you guys said, I think MJ will be number one, and I don't think
People would
no
debate between Kobe and LeBron. They'll debate,
Bron, yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
for me, it'd
But
be Bron. Two would be Bron for me.
yeah, and that's
I
totally
can live with
fine.
that.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Whatever, whoever number one, long as it's them three. And if it's not them three in your top three, I mean, I don't want to hear it.
Right. Yeah, I understand, man. Definitely. And so, speaking of guys, I don't know if you got some for us in with Ian's basement, but what do you got for us for Ian's basement, bro?
Uh, no, this would be a special one. So, what would be? I'll ask. Who are the top three best Cardinal players in Cardinals history?
Which sport?
Right.
I'll go
College
football.
basketball, Major League Baseball, or football?
Football.
Oof.
Mhm.
One, I
So
mean,
the
one is
greatest
easy.
Arizona Cardinal
I've
for
got
me is
I've
Larry
got this.
Fitzgerald,
It's
Larry
not Kyler Murray.
Fitzgerald.
right?
Larry Fitzgerald, and you
Okay.
probably have to go back to Terry Metcalf, running back, and
Yeah,
then Hall of
yeah.
Fame tight end Jackie Smith was a Hall of Fame tight end. In fact, he signed with the Dallas Cowboys, spent 1 year there, and he dropped a touchdown pass in the end zone. And as a Cardinal fan, we feel like he did that on purpose. If you remember that
Mm.
play, I
Wow.
mean, because Roger Staubach broke my heart so many times when I was a kid. They would always come back and win. But football Cardinals, I think it's Otis Anderson. Forgot about Otis Anderson, Terry Metcalf, and then Larry Fitzgerald probably. Kurt Warner. maybe you had to
Yeah,
Yeah,
look
he
at
was
one
one.
nice.
year,
What
come
about
on, yeah.
Aeneas Williams as well, the cornerback?
Yeah, and then
I'd agree. I would. Okay, he would be there too. Yeah, I
Yeah, he
forgot
was
about
great.
him. He was spectacular.
Mhm.
He one of the greatest ever. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Mhm.
That was a good one,
Mhm.
Brian. That was a good. He don't. Aeneas doesn't get talked about a lot. It was a
He was
great
definitely
cornerback
Oh,
he was
during
a
that
man.
time.
shutdown
He was,
corner.
Yeah,
and you know what? You
yeah,
talk about our spirituality. He's a great human being,
yeah, yeah.
and just a wonderful person.
Yep.
Mm. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. And so curious, guys. Jamar, do you got anybody or?
I don't know. My Cardinals list is so limited, but I mean, definitely
Right,
Larry
I'm
Fitzgerald.
with you.
Definitely
I,
Larry
I,
Fitzgerald
I,
for
I think I
sure.
got 3.
You got 3 in?
Go
Yeah,
ahead,
because
Jay.
I'm basing it off of my lifetime, Kerry. I'm basing it off of the
Yeah,
players I actually
Yeah.
seen. So some of the players you
yeah,
mentioned, I don't
I would,
know.
yeah.
I would
The
So
throw,
Fitzgerald
I
and Aeneas Williams. Those
yeah,
they're the obvious two.
I would throw Anquan Bolden in there. He
I
was
was right
yeah. I
there,
was gonna say
Anquan.
that.
Good
Yeah,
call.
I would
Second round draft
say
pick out of Florida
big.
State. He was a
Yeah,
good
he was
player.
a
very
stud,
underrated.
stud. You know what? I think that would be my 3. I am very familiar with Terry Metcalf. Great. He was very
I
explosive.
remember him as well.
Yeah, his
Um,
son played. His son played in the
yeah.
NFL.
Yeah, he plays right now
Uh,
with the Pittsburgh Steelers now, but was with the Seahawks. That's his son.
That's DK Metcalf. Is that Eric's
Yes,
son? I did
that's
not
that's
know
that's that's
that.
his son.
I
Yes,
did
because
not
his
know
dad played in
that.
the NFL.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yes, he is. He's a grown man.
Physical specimen.
that probably would
Yeah,
be my 3. It would be Larry, Aeneas Williams. Trying to that'll probably be from my lifetime, probably be Aeneas Williams, Larry, of course, and I probably would say Anquan Bolden.
yeah, me
I probably
too.
would say Anquan.
Yeah,
I know Kurt Warner's
yeah.
up there because of what he did
Yeah,
in a short
he
period of
came over there
time.
for a couple years and took him to the Super Bowl.
Rejuvenated that team.
Yeah.
Man, I remember watching that Super Bowl, Jamar. We were at Purdue at the time, Kerry, and you were a senior high school. We were freshmen.
Yeah.
And I remember being at home that weekend watching the Super Bowl, and I was like, "Oh my God, who in their mind thought the Arizona Cardinals would be in the Super Bowl? Yet, right there about to win the Super Bowl, and then they just that last drive by."
But I
My-
kid you not.
I thought Larry won.
My
it for
brother
him, not gonna
called
lie.
me. My brother called me with a little over a minute ago and congratulated me on the phone. Congratulations, Kerry, man. Your team finally did it. And I said,
Yeah.
"You stupid kid, what are you doing?" And then it happened, just like I thought it might happen.
Oh man,
When you think about throws and catches, that was
Top.
probably one of the greatest.
That was one of the
ever.
greatest.
ever.
top 3,
Yes.
probably top 5. I
Yes.
think we've ever seen, especially in that moment.
Yes.
Wow, what
Yeah,
a throw
and I-
and what a catch! It was
and-
amazing.
And I kid you not, like when Larry scored, that was the fastest I ever seen anybody
That
run in
was
my life. The
beautiful.
way he
That
split
was
the
beautiful.
safeties
Oh, my
and
goodness.
just kept going. I'm like, he ran like his
Right.
life
That
depended on it.
slant pass, and he was
He sure
gone.
did.
And I'm
He was
like,
out of there.
but you know what? The key play was that fumble return by
the
James
end of the
Harrison
half.
at the end of the
Yeah.
half.
Yeah,
That was the Super Bowl. The
That
Cardinals
was
win
the
that
Super
Super
Bowl.
Bowl otherwise.
They don't get
That was
that
a
touchdown.
If
momentum.
they
Yeah.
stop
Yeah.
him, literally, if they just stop him at the 1 yard line.
Well, look at it. The Cardinals were going in to score.
Score.
You had
Yeah.
a
Mhm.
14-point difference
Swing.
or
Swing.
swing right there, and ended up being a last play victory for Pittsburgh anyway. I mean, it was.
Wow,
I don't know if I'll ever see one.
Yeah.
man. Mm.
I mean,
Wow.
you may see it. We had the same feeling with the Cubs. I couldn't believe it. So I won't say it's possible. It's possible.
Right now, somebody on the Twitter page for Early Morning Sports Talk podcast said, as long as Kyler Murray stay off Call of Duty, you guys got a chance.
Hey.
Hey,
Relax on my
look,
guy.
No, it's more so your guy needs to throw Marvin Harrison Jr. the ball more. What is
He
he doing?
does. He does. He does. He does. He does.
I just know the second game of the of his career, like Marvin Harrison Jr. had 4 catches with 130 some yards and a touchdown, and didn't see the ball since. Like, what are you doing? Get that man the ball. Nobody can guard him, but you don't give him the ball.
We're
Right.
gonna try to work that out this year.
This
Yeah,
is
we're
what
gonna
I
try to work
mentioned,
that out.
guys, when I said there were moments that I saw last season, Kerry, from Marvin Harrison, and I'm like, I don't know if anybody can do much with him. Like, and so I can definitely see that a lot of it would depend on the quarterback. And so you guys are right. This is going to be a very important year for the Arizona Cardinals. Just curious, guys. This is what we always do, Kerry, as we head into the weekend. We always do what's called final thoughts and shout outs. And so as we head into the weekend, we start with you, Kerry, since you're our guest, then you, Jamar, as well as you, Ian. Guys, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Well, I'd like to give a shout out to you guys. Whenever I had this scheduled, I really did not know what to expect. I did have confidence in the fact that I could talk sports and share my faith. I've always thought that my best way of selling my book was through my own testimony. And I honestly, I want to remain friends with you guys at all possible. I've enjoyed this. This is the first time I've actually been on this type of stream before, and I like it a lot more. It's a lot more professional, and shout out to you guys. I think you guys do a good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Appreciate
for
that.
that.
Appreciate that.
Sincerely.
Thank you, Kerry. Thank you, sir. Author of I Believe. And yes, appreciate that. And yes, expect some sales from that book, Kerry. We believe as well. And so, Jamar, any final thoughts or shout outs as we head into the weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. First and foremost, shout out to Kerry for joining us, and shout out to Eve for even setting all this up to begin with.
Yes.
We definitely appreciate you. We would love for you to just come back on anytime you want to. We enjoyed you this morning. We really did.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Second, I just want to shout out the fact that look, we're in the midst of some high action sports moments between the playoffs and the draft, and I know we definitely talked about almost an hour of the draft because of one particular individual, but nevertheless, I hope his dream does come true today, and I will be locked in like you all. Like NFL is king. My eyes was glued to the NFL draft. Like NBA became second to none to me until the draft was over. Then I clicked over like, oh, there's a game on. But nevertheless, I just want to see guys' dreams come true today. So,
yeah.
Yes. And
oh man, shout out to Kerry for coming on with us this morning, man. Appreciate you coming on. It was definitely a great conversation. Welcome back anytime. Very knowledgeable. This was a great show this morning. And like Jamar stated, shout out to everybody getting drafted this weekend. I know we kind of got sidetracked on one player, but shout out to all of them, making their dreams come true. And prayers to the D tackle from Oregon, man, losing his mom and having, like I said earlier, dealing with those different streams of emotions, having to lose your mom, but having the biggest dream of your life come true and probably his biggest nightmare. So prayers and thoughts to his family. Man, shout outs to even Travis Hunter, even his dad being able to come see him get drafted. Him even going back home, Florida kid going back home, number 2 pick. Shout out to Cam Ward. Shout out to all those guys, man. Shout out to everybody, changing their family lives this weekend. It's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Got some, some basketball to watch as well. So it should be a good sports weekend. Everybody stay safe. And as Brandon would say, keep God first, man.
Yes. And to rebuttal on that, it was a pleasure Carrie. Of course, you're welcome back anytime on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast. We love to talk sports with you. We love to talk religion with you. We love to talk about any future projects you have, even your current projects or your past projects. We love to talk football with you, being a true football coach. We are big on football here on this podcast and play football. Jamar is a guru in football, and I played football as well. And so we love to talk that with you. And it's always a pleasure. The pleasure is ours, definitely, all three of us. We definitely appreciate you. And so, additionally, we have a lot that's been happening in the sports world. I know the situation with Shadur Sanders took a lot of the attention, but it was a lot happening this week. I mean, LeBron James and this rapper. It was the Shannon Sharp situation and
Yeah, it was a lot.
him getting this. I don't know what the hell he was thinking. It was just a lot of stuff happening this week. NBA playoffs, NFL draft. So sports always gives you something. It was always something to talk about. And so this is why we mentioned, Carrie, you're always welcome back. And so we'll see what happened, by the way, guys, with that Lakers series. I'm highly intrigued because Luka Doncic was sick last night, Ian. So that's good news for you, bro. He was sick last night, so perhaps that's why LeBron had 38 last night and Luka didn't do much. Yeah, Luka was sick last night, but LeBron went off. LeBron had 38 last night. He had a triple-double. He was looking like a grown man out there. He just didn't have much help. And so we're going to keep eyes on that series as well as the NBA playoffs. And so with that being said, on behalf of the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we would like to say thank you for tuning in with us this morning. Special shout out to Mr. Kerry Knox. I believe you can find that on various platforms, his book as well as Amazon. Continue to chop it up with us and support our podcast on various platforms. And if you would love to talk sports with us on the Early Morning Sports Talk podcast, we are here and would love to do so with you. Your love and support is truly appreciated, and we hope you all have a blessed and safe